Ajibola, what? Thank you, everybody. So once you have done that, you have identified those 5 questions. Just on your answer sheet, preferably, because most times they say don't write on question papers. Just note them down. You now look through them and now see which one you have strength in the most. You now select your 2 most strength areas. Once you are done with that, in answering questions, please take note of words like list, expatiate, explain, enumerate, differentiate. You understand? When they tell you, so you have to take note of those keywords. They can say list and explain 2 of the following. So that means they expect you to first, for example, they will say list and explain the types of exit from the service. You just list first. You write resignation, withdrawal, retirement, redundancy. You can write every abolishment. There's so many dismissal. So when you list, then you now explain 2 of those 4 or 5 that you have listed. I can guarantee you that you have quick points on 2. Pick the most 2 interesting one to you, especially the one that you believe you have experienced in the course of your career. So that helps you have more points to write down. And when it gets to you saying, okay, write a submission or a memo or an internal memo, please take note of key things in them. Look at the various components of a memo, start from the beginning into to detail it. The heading, and please, the first and second paragraph, as well as your last paragraph, conclusion, they are very, very, very significant. Make sure in the first and second paragraph maximum, you have everything, your important points should be stated there. The first paragraph, the introductory paragraph, should tell an insight to what you want and what led to what you want. The second paragraph will tell us the status quo, the current situation of that thing that you want. The next paragraph should tell me what you want from me, how you think, or as in alternatives, different ones, you state them there. And lastly, you state conclusion, what you want, which is your prayer. Once you coordinate yourself, you have that memo in good time. So Mr. Jamiu said, I don't know, Mr. Jamiu, should I allow Mr. Rasul to complete first?
Yes, ma. Yes, ma.
Okay. Sorry, Mr. Rasul.
In fact, no the information you dash in is very, very important, ma. Very, very important, and thanks for that, ma.
Thank you, sir.
All right, quick one. Apologize to all the participants that the information came late. We just try and see what we can do. Thank God that we even raised this program now, this session now. If not, Alaja will not get this information from Alaja. So thank you so much, ma, for that confidence. Mr. Rasul, you have the floor, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be back with you.
Please, if Mr. Rasul is audible, signify with your emojis, please.
Hello.
We are with you, sir. You have the floor, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. So tonight we'll be looking at financial regulation once again, but this time it will be a key summary. And it is very, very important, like I used to say, very, very important that we ask questions so they'll be able to touch the vital areas. So from chapter 1, chapter 1 of financial regulation has two parts, part 1 and part 2. Part 1 of chapter 1 talked about financial authorities, while part 2 of chapter 1 talk about financial responsibilities. Okay, that financial authority is about giving permission, giving approval, and taking decision on behalf of a. So at the state level, the head of government means Mr. Governor, and in practice, his responsibilities have been delegated to a number of officers. Although in theory, according to financial regulations, the major financial responsibilities of Mr. Governor has been delegated to the Commissioner of Finance. And then Commissioner of Finance will now delegate the accounting aspect, the accounting function to the Accountant General. But in practice, the governor of the state has delegated financial responsibilities to Commissioner of Finance and some other officers. For example, when it comes to approval of funds, we have Commissioner for MEPB, Minister of Economic Planning and Budget. We have the Deputy Governor, and the third one, we see the equation that we examined that. We talk about that later. So that is part 1 of chapter 1 of financial regulation. It talks about authorities. Is the next slide, sir. The next 2 slides. 1, 2. So the next one again. The next slide, sir. So thank you. So financial authorities actually refer to the instrument we're seeing on the screen, those legal instruments and documents that empowers and guide public officers in carrying out government financial transactions officially. So we say one of them is the 1999 Constitution, and we are giving reasons why 1999 Constitution is a financial authority. Apart from being authoritative, it contains certain financial procedures and processes and guidelines, financial guidelines too. Okay, another one is the appropriation law. We say at the state level, we call it the appropriation law. That is a budget that has been approved by the House of Assembly and it has been assessed to by the governor of the state. Okay, the next one is warrant. The next one is warrant. The next one, financial regulations. Another one is procurement law, pension law, official gazette, treasury circular, and so on and so forth. The next slide, sir. So those things are referred to as financial authorities. So, ladies and gentlemen, please take a look at this question. Which of these is not an example of financial responsibility? Which of these is not an example of financial authority? Sorry, which of these is not an example of financial authority? Okay. Thank you. Next one, sir. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Next one. In Lagos State, approval of fund has been delegated to all except one of the following. Question number 2. Approval of funds has been delegated to all except one of the following. Can anybody attempt this question, please? So, well, I think almost everybody missed this question. The answer is B. The answer is Mr. Governor. Let me say it again. In Lagos State, approval of fund has been delegated to all except one of the following. Mr. Governor is the one delegating, so it does not delegate to anyone again. So, do you get what I'm saying? Mr. Governor is the one delegating such responsibilities, and so no one is delegating to him because he is the head of government, and therefore the answer is B. Every other person on that list, the Commissioner for Budget, has power for approval, the Chief of Staff, the Deputy Governor. So that is it. The next slide, sir. Next one. Next one. Okay, apart from the 5 generals listed below, name 2 other generals that are specifically mentioned in financial regulations. Name 2 other generals that are specifically mentioned in financial regulations. We have the Accountant General, Auditor General. We have the Solicitor General, we have Attorney General. We have Tutor General as listed here. So apart from those that we have here, some others are specifically mentioned in financial regulation. Under financial regulation, there is nothing like Tutor General. So, but here we listed 5 and we say some. There are still others that are specifically mentioned. Okay, thank you. Somebody is Surveyor General, another one. Any other one? Okay, we have Administrator General, Administrator General, Administrator General. We also have Director General. Director General are listed among accounting officers. No, somebody say Inspector General. That is not correct. We're talking about Lagos State now. It's only at the federal level that they have Inspector General, that they have Postmaster General. But here we're referring to Lagos State. Next one, next question, sir. Next one. Who among the following is an accounting officer? Who among the following is an accounting officer? Who among the following is an accounting officer? Question number 3. Who among the following is an accounting officer? Okay. 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 Let me just quickly say that everybody missed this one. Nobody got this answer. Let me. Thank you, Obi. Okay. Thank you, Luashin. Okay. Okay, Omolara. Okay, thank you very much. Those are the few people that got it. Accountant General is the only. Look at the option very well. Number 2, permanent secretariat. It's supposed to be permanent secretary. The second one is vice chancellor instead of vice chancellor. So the answer here is 1 or A. The answer here is 1 or A. Accountant General, because the Accountant General is also permanent secretary. Next slide, sir. Next slide, next slide, next slide, sir. When a warrant is issued by the Honorable Commissioner of Finance, it will be sent directly to all except one of the following. Warrant will be sent to all except one of the following. Warrant will be sent to all. Thank you. Thank you. The answer is D. It's supposed to be permanent secretary, but the permanent secretary. Thank you. The next slide. Okay, let me quickly explain something here. Okay, we say that warrant is used to convey instruction by the Honorable Commissioner to the Accountant General to give the Accountant General the authority to release funds to various MDE. So, according to financial regulation, warrants are signed and issued by the Commissioner for Finance. But in practice, because Commissioner of Finance doesn't issue circular, so the Accountant General, who is also a PS, will now use his own circular, which is called Treasury Circular, to convey the warrant, to convey the message to the service that warrant has been issued, warrant has been released. I have received permission to release funds. Accounting officers or accounting officer should take charge of their responsibilities immediately. So in practice, you will see Accountant General issuing circular, Treasury Circular, conveying the warrant. Okay. Another example that's related to that is when you get approval from the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, you will notice that the approval will come with a particular prototype that is different from the one Mr. Governor and Deputy Governor used. And so an officer, a public servant like you and I, will now use a covering letter to convey the approval. On that covering letter, you will see approval for release of funds. On that letter paper of MAPB, you will see approval for release of funds. But that paper is not an approval. It is just a covering letter conveying approval. So the original approval, the main approval signed personally by the Commissioner of MAPB will be attached to it. So a paper conveying, serving as covering letter for another one is not the same thing as the main message. So that is that. Let me repeat that again. When the Commissioner of Finance issue warrant, the Accountant General will issue a circular to convey the warrant to the service. In another instance, when the Commissioner of Economic Plan and Budget give an approval, an officer within the MAPB will use the elected people of MAPB to convey the approval and to have the heading that reads approval for release of funds. It doesn't make that paper the approval. A characteristic of an approval is that approval, the word approved must be clearly written on it. The word approved must be clearly written on it. Amounts must be clearly written. Usually amounts in words and amounts in figures. That is two. Date of approval will be written on it. Signature of the approving authority. If it is governor's approval, Mr. Governor must personally sign. Signature, dates, amounts. He will use his handwriting to write those things. Date, amount, signature, and then the word approved. The word approved. All those things must be present, even if it is deputy governor, if it is commissioner of MAPB, whoever it is that is giving an approval must write those things. Those things must be on a single paper before you can refer to it as a approval. Now, on this question, okay, we have answered this one. Please, let's move on to the next one, please. Next question, please. Which of this is applicable to Lagos public service? Somebody should help us with this question. Which of these? Okay, somebody just asked a question. The person say that financial regulation refer to Accountant General as the Chief Accounting Officer as against Accounting Officer, that we should clarify. Let me quickly clarify it. As far as Lagos State is concerned, the Accountant General is also a permanent secretary. The Auditor General is also a permanent secretary. And any permanent secretary is an accounting officer. Let me say that again. In Lagos State, an Accountant General is the permanent secretary of the State Treasury Office, PFSTO. That's why we call him PSAG, PSAG, PSAG. Okay, permanent secretary slash accountant general. So the accountant general of Lagos is also a permanent. That's why we call him accounting officer. Fine. Number two, it was said that the Accountant General is the chief accounting officer. That person should go back. That person should go to chapter 1, part 2 of financial regulation. That person should go and see that area very well. It was written that he is the chief accounting officer for the receipts and payments of government operations. The word receipts and payment is there. And the interpretation of that one is that all the permanent secretaries that we refer to accounting officer, they are to render accounts to the Accountant General of Lagos State. That's why we say he is the chief accounting officer. Let me say it again. When your accountant prepare your accounts, he or she will put the name of the permanent secretary and his own name. And then the account will also be rendered to the Accountant General. It will also be rendered to the Auditor General. So if accounting officers are submitting accounts to another accounting officer, it therefore means that the receiver of that report is the chief among the accounting officer. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, this question now, which of these is applicable in Lagos State? I think only one person got the answer. The answer is D for dog, D for daddy. The answer is D, Fiscal Responsibility Act. One of the purpose of tonight's session is to explain the rationale behind answers, the reasons behind the options we're taking as our answers. That's one of the reasons for this session, not just picking answer. Okay. Now, we say that at the state level, state government don't use act, they use law. So it's supposed to be procurement law, operation law, pension law, and so on and so forth. But in this case, there's a particular one, which is item D, Fiscal Responsibility Act. The Fiscal Responsibility Act is being used by the state and all states across the federation. The Fiscal Responsibility, how do you know that we're using Fiscal Responsibility Act? If you check the budget of your MDA or the budget of Lagos State, you will discover that it contains 3 years figure, 3 years figure, 3 years medium term. In budgeting, there are 3 times, there are Three time horizon, time span, time horizon. There are three in budgeting. The first one is short term. Short term is any period that is less than 3 years, especially 1 year. If it is within 1 year, it is called short term. An example of short term plan or short term budget is the annual budget or annual operation law. An example of short term budget or short term plan is our annual appropriation law, annual budget. Number two is medium term plan. An example of medium term plan is MTEF, MTF, MTBF, MTRF. MT means medium term and it stands for 3 years. Anything between 1 and 3 years is called medium term. Example is the MTEF, the medium term expenditure framework. It medium term means 3 years. Expenditure framework, our spending for the next 3 years. So anytime you check your budget, you will see 3 years figure. It means we are complying with the requirement of Fiscal Responsibility Act. Now, what is the third one? In budgeting, the third or the longest is called long-term planning, long-term plan or long-term plan or long-term budget. Example is the Lagos State Development Plan. Because it is more than 3 years, covering from 2025 to 2052, then it is a long-term plan. Let me repeat that again. We have short-term, medium-term, and long-term. Example of short-term is our annual budget or annual operation law. Example of medium-term is the MTEF, medium-term expenditure framework, or medium-term budget framework, MTBF, or medium-term revenue framework. Then the third one is long-term plan or long-term budget. An example of that one is LSDP, Lagos Development Plan 2052. Thank you. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Okay, financial responsibility. We have explained financial responsibilities that Mr. Governor has delegated his financial responsibilities to some officers. One of them is the Accountant General. Accounting functions are being delegated to the Accountant General. The Commissioner for Commissioner for Finance, who in turn devolve that responsibility to Accountant General. It is the Commissioner of Finance who is a cabinet member. Then he will now devolve such responsibility to the Accountant General. Now, Mr. Governor also share part of this responsibility with the Commission for Economic Planning and Budget. What they are doing there is also a finance function. Okay, so that is that. Also, the Deputy Governor also has power of approval. Approving fund, authorization of fund is also financial responsibility. But theoretically, on paper, it is the Commissioner of Finance. Commissioner of Finance. That is it. And that is in line with provision of financial regulation under Chapter 1, Part 2. Next slide. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so we have Accountant General. The Accountant General is the accountant of the government. He will render accounts. He will prepare financial statement of the government. He will supervise all the accounts of the government. He will manage the investment of the government. He will train accountants in the public service. He will recruit because he's responsible for conducting interview and some other things. To recruit accountants he will issue forms bearing treasury number. We see treasury forms. Example of treasury form is voucher. That voucher we also it is called those payment voucher we see everywhere. It's also called TF1, Treasury Form 1, Treasury Form 1. So it's an example of a form that Accountant General issue. No MDE, no person, no individual organization should ever attempt to print voucher if they don't have voucher. You cannot print voucher, you can't print receipt, it's illegal. So receipt of government is also a form, treasury form. Okay, voucher is a form, treasury form. Cash book is a form, is treasury form. Vote book is a form, treasury form. So they are all treasury form. It's only accountant that have the power to print those documents and give them serial number. Okay, so that is that. Next one, sir. So Auditor General is responsible for auditing government accounts and reports such auditing or audit report sent to the House of Assembly. Specifically, the Public Account Committee will take charge of that report and report to the whole House. Then we now have accounting officer. Now, talking about accounting officer that we all know, the concept of accounting officer goes beyond ministries departments, and agencies. It's also involved programs and projects of government. Let me give an example. Assuming Nigeria or Lagos wants to host Olympic next year, and the Olympic Games, maybe it will cost around 100 billion naira. These Olympic Games will now be a major project, and it will involve maybe about 200 luxurious buses, maybe about 20 big hotels, maybe about 1,000 staff strength. A lot of logistics will go into it. And therefore, the head of the Olympic Committee, if that head is in charge of all the staffing, all the officers, if he's in charge of all the vehicles, if he's in charge of all the logistics, if he is in charge of releasing funds, particularly for that project, for example, they open an account for that project. Therefore, that person will be the accounting officer for that project. And so the person in charge of collection and release of money relating to that project, who is responsible to that, and maybe chairman of committee, for example, that person will now be standing in as a sub-accounting officer. Both of them will be accountable to the accountant general and the auditor general. So that is that. So the next one, sir, and then we have other officers working on that. We have sub-accounting officer in charge of a vote. He is the person responsible for maintaining the vote book. What do we use vote book for? For monitoring expenditure. We use vote book for monitoring expenditure to ensure that there is no extra budgetary spending, to ensure that there is sufficient balance before spending, to ensure that expenditure are properly recorded. Those are the functions of sub-accounting officer. Okay. Next one, sir. So we have revenue collector, we have interest holder, and we have officer controlling expenditure. Next one. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, who among the following is responsible for maintenance of good book? Who among the following is responsible for the maintenance of good book? Hello? Okay, let me give it to you. Okay, right now, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay, let's move to the next slide to save time. Let's move to the next slide. Let's move to the next slide. Let's move to the next slide. Next slide, sir. Who among the following does not have power to monitor storage of vehicle spare parts? So under chapter 20, talks about motor vehicle, and then some officers are responsible for monitoring stock of spare parts of government vehicles. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay. The answer to this one is B. Julius, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So that's the answer is B, because the head of accounts, head of admin, internal auditor, they must be carry along. When you have spare parts in your store, before you touch it, the head of account specifically written there in chapter 20, head of accounts, head of admin, internal auditor, you must carry them along before you touch spare parts in the store. So it's clearly written there. So our answer is B. Okay, next one. Next one. Okay, government expenditure. We have talked about government expenditure. Please don't forget that the purpose of this session is to explain reasons behind our answer and to ask a lot of questions. That's why you are saying something that is similar. Seeing a slide that is similar to what we've used before. That's why you're saying that. Okay, so we have capital and recurring. When expenditure involve spending on acquisition of assets, we call it capital expenditure. Acquisition of tangible assets, especially when it is tangible. Acquisition of assets generally is a capital expenditure. Okay. For developmental purpose, when it is for developmental purpose, it is capital expenditure. Remember, capital expenditure are usually huge, large in size, and they are not repetitive in nature. And the second one is recurrent expenditure. Remember, capital expenditure will also increase the assets of the organization. To increase the assets of the organization. Okay. Then the other one is recurrent expense. Recurrent expense is repetitive in nature and is classified into two. We have personnel costs and we have overhead costs. Personnel costs are the money spent on personnel, on employees. For example, salaries, pension, allowances, bonus, and so on and so forth. For overhead, these are the money spent on maintenance and day-to-day operation. Maintenance and day-to-day operation. Day-to-day operations include transportation, electricity, stationery. Maintenance include refueling, repair, servicing, and so on and so forth. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Okay, which of these is odd? Which of these is the odd one out? Let us see. Replacement of chair, servicing of meeting, replacement of bulb, and purchase of stationery. Which one is the odd one out? Thank you. Replacement of chair is capital in nature. That's purchase of furniture. Thank you. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Which of these is not likely to qualify under running cost? Payment of electricity bill, purchase of petrol, purchase of water, conference. Which one is not likely to qualify? Thank you. Barua, thank you. Ofuri, thank you. Raimo Busari, thank you. Okay, they all got this. Abiola Miraman, thank you. Olabisi, thank you. Engineer Folabi there, thank you. Akemi, thank you. Adini Adenifa, thank you. Abani Tawali. Thank you, everyone. Everyone got this one right. Okay, it is conference. You can't use your running course for Julius and Gui. Thank you. You can't use your running course for conference. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Okay. Which one of these warrants is used when additional budget has been passed into law for the same year? When when an additional budget is passed for the same year, which one of these is being used? Okay. 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 Perhaps more, okay. And then nothing thank you, everyone. I think everyone got this one right. The answer is supplementary budget. The additional budget we're talking about in this question means supplementary budget. So it will take a supplementary warrant to approve. Thank you. Kushoro Kabiri Grovi, Adeola Orifomo. Thank you, everyone. Queen Basi. Okay, what do you do with your spend balance in capital account? You have a capital account. What do you do with your spend balance? Question number 10. What do you do with your spend balance? Okay. Okay. Okay, the question again, what do you do with your spend balance in capital account at year end? At the end of the year, if it's a recurrent account, you return to chase. At the end of the year, if it's a recurrent account, you return to chase. What is recurrent account? Recurrent expenses, money for electricity, money for running costs. If you don't spend them, money for conference, you don't spend, you return them to government treasury, to government account. But if it is capital, which is also called project account. You may have an account called project account or capital account, and you know that that money is for capital project. And that capital project is already going on or is about to go, and you sure that you will do it. You don't need to return the money to Chase. You will use the money for the capital project. So the answer is B. Everybody took C, but the answer is B. The reason why the answer is B is that the C you took, which is reorder, it is only House of Assembly that has the power to authorize reordering. It is only Fentola Nobanjo, thank you. It is only House of Assembly, only the House of Assembly that has the power to reorder. Hello, everyone. Are we together? Okay, government vehicles. Next one, government vehicles. Government vehicles are discussed under Chapter 20. Accounting officers shall ensure effective control for the use of government vehicles, and it should be for official use only. Proper record keeping must be ensured. Drivers must properly be inducted and trained. Okay, under Chapter 20, the training and retraining of driver was specifically written there. Okay, sorry, somebody said the last question was not clear. Please, help, please take us back to that, this slide. I was saying that everybody choose option C, which means reorder or reordering. And now say that when it comes to reordering, it is being initiated, it is being done by MEP, Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, in collaboration with the House of Assembly. But it is the House of Assembly who is the law-making body, law-making arm of government. They are the only one that have power to reorder. So, but this question is, what do you do with us? What do you do with us balance? You don't have power to reorder. It's only House of Assembly that can reorder. But now we say balance, unspent balance in capital account. The money is already in your account. Nobody can reorder it. Even House of Assembly cannot reorder. The money has been released already. It is only the money that is there to be released that House of Assembly can reorder. It's only the money that you are yet to collect, you are yet to assess. That's the only one that can be reordered. But this one, we're talking about balance in your bank account, which is capital in nature. It is for capital project. You don't return it. You use it to complete the project, even if it take you 2 years to spend. But if it is recurrent within 1 year, by the end of December, if you collect on December 4th or December 31, you have to finish it on December 31. Otherwise, you return it. So that's it. Thank you. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. Next slide. Okay, we have explained it, but what we're saying here on that government vehicle is that it was specifically written that drivers must be trained and retrained regularly. They must be properly inducted, and separate vehicles should be allocated to separate drivers. Next slide, sir. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Okay, I think we've seen this before. Apart from vehicle logbook, mention any two of the following book that must be maintained in respect of a government vehicle. B, vehicle control register, vehicle maintenance register, and vehicle control register. Yeah. The answer is, thank you. The answer is BE, but we can also say EB. So we have two answers there. We have vehicle maintenance register and vehicle control register. Then the question say, apart from vehicle logbook, it means you have mentioned 3 important books that must be maintained when you have government vehicle in your custody. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Next slide. Which of these is recommended by FR? The answer to this one is easy. We've seen this before. You enter agreement with petrol dealers for credit. Next one. Next one, sir. Okay, we've seen this. Next one, sir. Next slide. Who is responsible for maintaining records of servicing of vehicle? Transport officer. The answer is transport officer. Next one. Next slide. Okay, the main reason for non-accident bonus policy is to discourage accident caused by negligence. Thank you. Next slide, sir. Next slide. Okay, loss of fund. Okay, next. That's chapter 25. So if there's a depletion in fund, then we see there's shortage or loss of fund. This means when the available balance, the cash you have with you, is smaller than what we're expecting to have. The cash balance with you is lower than what was written in books that you're supposed to have with you. Next, sir. Next one. How do you prevent loss of funds? By strengthening internal control. When you are strengthening your internal control, then you can prevent. So, what do you mean by internal control? Any forms of security that you can put in place, any form of security measure that you can put in place. For example, I always tell people when you visit account department, whenever you visit account department, and the people in there say, "Wait, I'm coming." My brother, my sister, leave that place. Don't sit down in the cash office. Don't sit down and go there to be watching film or gisting. It's not an entertainment venue, please. So it has to be restricted. Notice has to be there. CCTV are in the surrounding, not inside, but in the surrounding. It has to be under concrete floor, not at the topmost floor. It has to be middle or ground floor. There must be double-sided lock for your safe, clearly written in financial regulation that there must be double lock for each safe. So if you are the person in charge of the safe, don't share the key with anybody. So that one, let's leave that area. What factors are to be considered in case of loss of funds? The factors to consider, you consider the amount, you consider the grade level of the officers, you consider the courses, the cost. Check whether it is substantial, how much is it, you check whether the officer is up to level 10 or not. And check the reason for that shortage. Is it theft? Is it fraud? Is it falsification? Is it fraudulent payment? And so on and so forth. Next one, next slide. Next. Okay, these are the probable cause or possible causes of loss. We have fraud, we have negligence, we have theft, we have falsification of records. Next one, responsibilities. Accounting officer has responsibility to write reports to notify the accountant general. When writing such report, accounting officer must also notify auditor general. He must also notify chairman civil service commission. What will accountant general do? To write off the money, okay, let us write it off. It is the power of the accountant general. The accountant general will give an approval for that. That letter will be sent to the accounting officer. When the accounting officer receives that, they will use it to prepare voucher as if it is payment. However, the accounting officer will take some steps like investigation and make recommendation to the accountant general. So whether the accounting officer wants us to do investigation or not, the prerogative to decide, the power, the prerogative to decide whether we should do investigation or not lies in the hands of accountant general, not on the accounting officer. So those are the responsibilities of that. Thank you very much, everyone. Let's really start asking questions if you have any questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, sir. Without wasting much of our time, because we still have what we call Jara this night from Mrs. Hamzat on the HR. So let your question be brief and straight. We can't solve problem now. Tonight call is just revision because of tomorrow, so that we can quickly go and sleep and prepare for tomorrow. Okay, Oshidipe, quick one.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Oshidipe Mupusayo from Office of Internal Audit. Yeah,
Okay.
Mine is really not a question, but just an appreciation because we had our exams today, and if I must confess, this program really helped us a whole lot. So I want to appreciate Mr. Jamil for your efforts and all other erudite personnel, resource people that you invited. God bless you. God bless you a whole
Amen.
lot.
I need to.
Very much,
All
sir.
right. Thank you so much, Oshidipe, for that. So we are expecting more tomorrow. Olaniyan.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. I just
Good
want
evening.
to ask if a project vehicle is also government vehicle.
Hello?
Hello, sir. Project vehicle. Is project vehicle also government vehicle?
Project?
Project.
Did you say project?
Project vehicle.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is. Let me explain that area. If you look at chapter 21 and 22, it talk about stores. And so when you check that area, you will see what they call sources of store. And the meaning of that is, how does government get its assets? If you are the owner of something, how does it belong to you? How do we say this thing belongs to government? So there are about 7 reasons given there. When you dash government something, it has become government property. So, and so on and so forth. When you purchase it, when you create it, when government construct a table now, government did not buy it, they construct it by in-house carpenter. It is now government property. If an NGO now bring a generator or motor vehicle and say, please use it only for this purpose, so we may collect it later. As at the time of using it, it is government property. So project vehicle is government vehicle. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Okay. 85706775331. Unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Bashiru Jimo from Ministry of Education. Yeah, I just want to ask, sir, what is the short or best summary for the definition for financial regulation?
The definition for financial regulations.
Yeah, the short definition, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. If you look at that word, it's always in pura. S is the last alphabet there. So it is financial regulations. And as such, we say a set of regulations, a set of guidelines without repeating the word regulation. When you now look into it, you will see numbering, like our public service, numbering, rule number so, rule number so. For example, rule number 111, say that if you're a permanent secretary, even if you have retired, they can still call you to come and account for what happened there. Rule number 111, just an example. So we have rule 1, rule 101, rule 102, room 1122, room 2225, and so on and so forth. So it's a set of guidelines, procedures. There are procedures there. When this happens, what will you do? When this happens, what will you do? Okay, it's a set of guidelines and procedure that govern, like a governance, that govern government day-to-day financial operations, everything that has to do with money in public service. It is financial regulation that is governing it. So it's a set of guidelines and procedures that govern the government day-to-day financial operations. Going further, we can say it is usually issued by the Federal Ministry of Finance for the use by the federal government and all other states in Nigeria. So today, somebody asked us, does Lagos State has its own financial? We say no. Lagos does not have its own financial. It is the same federal government financial that all of us in Nigeria are using, except for local government. There is a special one for local government. They use financial regulation, but they still have a special one. It's called financial memoranda. That one is specific to local government. Okay, so let us leave that one there. It is a set of guidelines and procedures that govern the day-to-day financial operations of the government. Thank you for that.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, participants, for this impromptu call. And thank you for your commitment. And thank you, the other lady, for your achievement. So, Mr. Rasu, thank you so much, sir. So let's leave you this night so that you can go and prepare for tomorrow. So we can call on Mrs. Amzat. Mrs. Amzat, sir, ma.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rasul. Sincerely,
Thank you, ma.
I read, but it always seems as if I've not read anything anytime you come on board. But
Yeah.
thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma. All right, ma. Okay, ma. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. So back to the writing of questions. I think earlier the first, because we've had, I think I have over 580 now. So maybe we can repeat what we have said earlier. I started with answering our questions. Like we all know, we'll be doing the written first before the BG. So in that be for the written, like earlier I said that, please, are we all here? Can everybody hear me, please? Just few emojis to be sure you're with me. Okay, thank you, Mr. Oladimeji and Olusoya and every loving person listening here. So I said that try to read all the questions. I will suggest everybody go in with at least go with a pencil and a biro. Why do I say a pencil? You are not using the pencil to write your answers. And you know, normally when they give us question papers, you will hear things like, do not write on your question paper, which we don't know whether it's going to be on the board or it's going to be given to us as individually. So once you have it, as you are reading, make sure you read through all the 5 questions. Why do I say that? Is that helps you find your strength. So once you are writing, go on the answer sheet using your pencil. Jot as you are reading each question, any idea to pasare wa sori wa, just jot it down. You do it like that for the 5 questions. As you do that, you will know which one you have strength with. Let's be sure. I don't know. I know in the past they will tell us question blah 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 is compulsory. There are times they tell us, but I don't know their approach, but they said answer 2 questions. And the compulsory one they might say you should write a submission, or you write a memo, write a proposal or a position paper. Whatever it is, position paper, submission, submission is still the same thing. That means it's like a proposal. They want you to sell an idea to them and justify it. So now let's go to what tips for your writing your submission or your letter or your memo or your position paper. Even for those who are asked to write. Hey, sorry. So, Balaji, I hope am I really very clear? Because somebody is saying the line is breaking. So I think the network is
clear. You are clear, ma. I think
okay.
it's from Bolaji.
You need to what? Take notes of these things in writing. Number 1, write your heading. Remember the addressee, the person you are addressing it to, the permanent secretary or the head of service or Mr. Governor. When you write it, you have the heading. Now, your first paragraph should always send the first message, please. You introduce the top, what you are proposing, and its purpose. Those 2 things must be in your first paragraph. The moment you write that, that person knows you know what you are doing. The second paragraph, you should be like a problem statement. That would be where you will clearly define the problem or the opportunities. That second part. Let me give you an example. For example, let's talk about maybe the bus train. Like for example, you want to write to Mr. Governor that maybe they should replace the bus. You know that bus that happened in the bus train accident. You come to the top with request for new bus to replace the bus train. You now go. You recall, sir, that the bus train accident that happened on 24th, blah, 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 blah. Here with the bus transmitting staff from Egbeda to the office crushed, and they have left with no other bus. Hence, the need or the reason why this submission is written to request for a bus in order to alleviate their hardship, transport hardship. Ṣé mọ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ka ibẹ̀ yẹn, ó ti sọ problem, ó ti sọ nǹkan tí ó fà, ó dẹ̀ ti sọ nǹkan tó fẹ́. So he knows where you are going. You have touched his empathy. So because of that, you can now go to the next statement where you talk about the status quo. This crop of officers who have been going, who utilize the bus from Egbeda to Lagos to Secretariat have had it difficult based on the hardship of the economic hardship to get to the office on time, thereby affecting the productivity within their job roles. Existing fleet of bus cannot accommodate the current number of people who that boss have left out. You see, you have said the problem. But ta ló fẹ́ kíní yìí ó ń kó ìnira bá àwọn èèyàn kan o. So because of that, la ṣe ń tọrọ ń gbé kán jọ kán replace kíní. So you now go to the third paragraph. Sir, going further into the discussion, it has been observed that in the Ministry of Finance, there is a contingency fund there. If you may, that can be used to repair some buses, or we can obtain new buses from Lamata, from their old buses, and use this money to repair them and bring it back to ground. The Ministry of Finance has been contacted on this, and they have agreed, they have provided the relevant vote of charge to put this bus in shape. That you have also what? Profiled a solution. So lastly, foregoing considered, in view of the foregoing, the Mr. Governor, the head of state is hereby requested through the blah blah blah, or the permanent secretary is hereby requested through the head of state to the Mr. Governor for the release, to approve the sum of blah 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 to be released from the blah 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 relevant vote of charge, vote code, which has been supplied by the, and if they did not supply, which shall be supplied domiciled in the Ministry of Finance. So you see now, you and don't be bothered about writing 1 full 3 page. Boya you saw somebody writing 2 pages, you too start writing. We are not in that level again. Conceptualize your thoughts in one space. And even for letters, every first paragraph of any communication you are writing, whether it's letter, internal memo, submission, even the ESCO memo, the first paragraph should always state, introduce what you want and the purpose of why you are writing. It must always capture it there. And I hope we are all together. Hello?
Yes, we are together, ma.
Okay. So thank you, Ajibola, for that. Thank you so much. So that is basically what I want to tell us about the, and again, like I said earlier, please take note of words like difference, elucidate, enumerate, list, differentiate, compare, contrast. Take note of such words. When they tell you list and explain to, that means you should list all those things in that topic there. Maybe I give an example. If they're asking you of ways of leaving the service, you have resignation, you have withdrawal, you have redundancy, you have retirement, dismissal, death. All of those are ways of leaving the service. You list them out, then you now look at the one that you have strong points the most. Don't because money 10 pages. No, even if it's just 4 lines or 5 lines that will explain that thing, make sure you and avoid the use of jargons. Don't use use simple language, be concise, and be precise in whatever you are writing. So in that instance, you now pick 2. You cannot say resignation is the exit of when an officer exits the service before what? 5 years. Such officers will be required to pay 1 month in lieu of 1 month notice. They will be required to give a 1 month notice or 1 month salary in lieu of notice. That are the key things they need when you talk about resignation. Same thing goes for, and that's the kind of explanation I have around our written. So when it comes to the CBT, look, CBT is one of the most trickiest. It might seem simple, but it is trickiest. You know, like what Mr. Rasul showed us just now. In fact, I made one blunder and I even laughed at myself when they said that when he talked something about delegated authority. How can, all of us are there typing, and he said it, and delegated authority. Talon delegate. So we need to pay attention to key words. Do we get it? So those are the key things. Make sure you read each question, read the answers all through. Then you now pick your own answer. Then the ones you don't understand, just keep on doing the ones you know. After that, you go back. Always try to be accurate and still be very cautious of your answers. And I think that is the summary of what I have to say about the exams.
Okay.
So I think, are we okay? So is there any question around this, please?
Okay, let me open the chat box so that you can raise your hand if you have any question concerning that.
So
you can go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, I think it's explanatory enough. Then second, you said I should say a little about the 5 divisions of admin.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the 5 divisions of admin, we have 5 divisions under the admin. They can ask questions that when did the human resource, I think it's in 2012. So when the human resource, so we have the what? Workforce planning and recruitment. We have the learning and development. We have the employee relations. We have human resource measures and accountability. And we have the general admin. For me, I don't know why they will be asking any one of us who are not admin officers anything outside that. But for those who are admin officers here, everything that has to do with workforce planning, there are things that have to do with the career, the arrangement of officers. When you talk about job description, it has to do with the job, trying to put the right peg in the right hole at the right time. That is what workforce planning is all about. So you now have job description, job classification, personnel budget, àwọn IT, àwọn NYSC, personnel budget, all those things that have to do with planning the path, the career path of an officer. Those are what you do in workforce planning. Let's go workforce planning and recruitment. It's just saying that putting the right person in the right place at the
Are you there, ma'am? Unmute yourself, ma'am.
Oh, sorry. Please wait. What was my last statement? I didn't know how I got muted.
Yes, putting the right peg at the right hole.
Okay, I summarize that putting the right peg in the right hole and at the right time. That is what workforce planning is all about. Going to learning and development is all about those things that will help the officer grow in service. That's why you have promotion there. Though promotion is a metric, but let's leave that now. That's why you have promotion. The promotion will help you grow, will develop you. You have talent management. That means you want to ensure that the right kind of people with the right skills, people are given the right skills they require to grow, and the right knowledge and also attitude also. So you have what we call confirmation. They're also the one inside. Confirmation is something that also what? Help your career to, because if you write confirmation exam and you fail 3 times, you lose your seniority, your national security. Your date of confirmation shall be the date when the commission sits. So you will lose your seniority. So that's how it also affects how to grow your career path. So the next one is employee relation. Employee relation is generally about the well-being of the officer. That's why you have things like grievances and appeal. You have things like leave. You have things like what again there? You have grievances, you have leave, you have health issues, anything, what I think there's anything that has to do with the welfare of your bimo, all these things. That's what they do in employee relations. Then you have what we call the human resource measures and accountability. Like the name implies, measurements. That's why you see that SPADEV is in HRM and A. SPADEV is there because SPADEV is a measuring tool. That is why it's in HRM and A. In that place too, you have your activity report. So every month or every year, you have the HRM and A ensures that every department submits their activity report, and that's where they plan for the year also. That's why you have your KPIs. They want to ensure that people are meeting their expected plan at every time. So that's why they do a quarterly review of HRM and A. And you also have registry in that place, though normally the registry, nominal role. Nominal role is domiciled in HRM and A because you want to ensure you have, that's where database, when they come in, you put that. But normally it's supposed to be in workforce planning because they are the ones that use it. But then you have the general admin. General admin are the ones that manage supervising minute writing for all departments. They are the ones that manage the office maintenance and of office building. They are the one in charge of committees, ensuring that committees. They are the one in charge of vehicles. That's where the office manager is domiciled. So anything that has to do with the condition of sitting, living, and the building, the structure of that agency, that is what we do in general admin. So that's summary of all items, except if we have other areas of the PSR that you want me to explain. I think I'm willing to give what I have for this night. Thank you.
Yes, ma. We would love if you can help us something on the jobs descriptions. How we can, if you have any such question like that, so how we can package ourselves, ma.
Yeah, all they will ask you, when they ask you what is your job description, they want you to write to describe what you are doing in clear terms. And look, you cannot go back to the scheme of service. Don't go and be writing what is inside the scheme of service because that one is already. Now job description aligns with your competencies. So let me give you an example of me as Amina Hamza. I work with the permanent secretary, admin, and HR. Permanent secretary, as I name myself executive assistant. That is what I do. But I am admin and HR by CADA. So when they tell me to write my job description, I will write what I am doing, relating it to the success of your organization. So for me now, if you ask me now, I will write something like coordinate the affair, help in writing high-level submissions that gives direction to the governance, considering the office of the head of service, the responsibility of the office of the head. Not to hype yourself. You need to hype yourself. Even if you are doing L&D, let me give you, if you are doing L&D and they say your job description, my job description is to identify skills gap in the office in order to align it with the organizational goal. And to ensure that the trainees of officers aligned with the required skills to ensure that job is delivered. I hope you get it. I ensure that the completion of ensure that officers who are eligible for promotion are adequately captured for the promotion exercise, ensuring thereby none of the officers miss their exams. I hope we are together. So that is what it does. So for you to hype yourself, my brothers and sisters, that one, you actually need that when you get to your interview stage. They won't be asking you about job description now. Hype. And I promise that when it's time, close to exam, we will have a video, a session like this, where individually we will test what we know, how to sell ourselves. If you recall when Mrs. Adbebidaku said it, sell yourself. Don't do me. Stand in front of the mirror and do that. So let's leave that aside. So for your job description, it's just describing what you are supposed to do based on your job role. You see, your job role is that in schedule of duty. Okay, your job role. My job role is executive assistant to the permanent secretary. My job description are those things that I have listed out earlier. That is my job description. My job role is admin. I am in charge of Mr. Rasul Kowansins. Finance. Okay. What is he called?
Financial regulation.
Those three sub impressed. Those 3 people under the Mr. Rosu, those 3 people under the sub-accounting, the 3 divisions. Impress, no, he said, can you call revenue, can you call one baby? Well, those key 3 places.
Revenue collector, impress holder, and
Revenue
officer control
collector.
expenditure. Impress holder and
idea one, but impress holder,
officer
revenue
control
collector.
expenditure.
So that is
Revenue
your job
collector,
role.
impress holder, and officer control expenditure.
Revenue collector, impress holder, and officer controlling expenditure. Your job role, you are the officer in charge of controlling, officer controlling revenue expenditure. So your job description are those things that you do to ensure that that job role is successful. And those little things you do, those step-by-step things you do, that is your job description. I don't know if I was able to clear that.
Yes, beautiful, ma. But another one, ma, supposing we come across a question that has to do that we should relate our job role to our office mission and vision, and at the same time to Teams Plus agenda. How can we?
Okay. Number 1, you must know the reason why your office is existing. Number 1, you know your role. Whether you are an accountant, for example, a accountant in your ministry. Number 2, you must know the reason why that your office is in existence. Then number 3, you need to know under which sector is your office. Like Office of the Head of Service, we are under the general service sector. So in general service, we know that taja, raja, ní revenue ta fẹ́ pa wọlé. Okay, somebody said no, but I'm you get here, dada. Am I wrong? I'm not right. I know we're under general service. Somebody said on Bolanle away.
No. Bolanle Awoyi is attending to one question like that from Amodu. The question that she's asking, in fact, is somehow disgusting. How can somebody be asking that? Are we doing theory in CBT? I don't understand. Go ahead, ma.
Wake up. So
honestly, I need to know the person.
You don't need
go
leave
ahead,
them.
ma. Go ahead.
So the question now is, okay, what I said. Okay, I said that 1, you should know your job role. Kí ni department, iṣẹ́ department ẹ lákọ̀ọ́kọ́. Number 2, you should know the sector your ministry is. Your ministry is either general service. Go and check under that COFOG thing and find where you belong. But me, I know my own that is in general service. Number 3, you should know the mandate. What is expected of your ministry? Why were you existing? Kí ni reason tó fi dá yín lẹ̀? So for us in Office of the Head of Service, Office of the Head of Service is created to give direction to government or governance, because we are the entity that remain even after the political people have gone. So if there are issues, we are the one that are supposed to give advice to government. So now, Hamza, what is your role? I told you just now that my role is to ensure, to analyze situation and give advice, appropriate advice, going through extant documents and give appropriate recommendations to my accounting officer, in line with making Lagos a better place, in line with security and governance. If there is stealing, when there is so much theft in Alausa, yes, what do? We decide to write a memo that, okay, sir, it has been observed that blah, 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 blah. We write to the necessary ministry that is responsible. We call them to a meeting. It is for me to write a memo or a submission to my accounting officer that in order to address the theft issue in the Alausa premise, it is important that all stakeholders be invited so that they come up and be on top of their feet. That is what we do. Power. It is for you to hype your statement. When I used to work in Office of the State Auditor General, one thing we should learn to do, please, after now, always read the mandate of the office where you are belonging. That in that way, you will have something to hype yourself with. When I was in the office of let me use the office of the State Auditor General. I was in admin. But at that time, I needed to buy into what they are doing, so that when you buy into what they are doing, when you write your submission, it will relate with what they are doing. You know that, I will know that the office of Auditor General does post-payment audits. So what is my role as admin and HR, most especially, is that what? I want to ensure that the officer's well-being is adequately attended to, in line with global, so that it will not affect the disposition or their disposition in the course of their work. I want to make sure that the nominal role is adequately captured in order to give quality information to make informed decision. So once you know as admin and HR, you provide nominal role that is not correct. Don't you think it have adverse effects, rippling effects? Okay, give us the list of office name of all auditors in your ministry, and in your nominal role is 100. And at that trickle of the eye, you told the Auditor General that is 40. Other lossy be meeting, they 40. When the approval came, they gave them for 40. What happens? That means the Auditor General cannot trust you. So you see, everybody, accountant, for example, you should be able to give accurate accounting. You are supposed to run after their vouchers to ensure that payments are made at the right time, so that projects and programs are executed successfully. I don't know if I've said anything that has touched anybody here. I might not say something that applies to everybody's position, but even procurement, ensuring that the right and quality, the value of money is delivered when it comes to projects, allocation of projects. So you bring, then this is done through following the right, bidding process. So this, and again, we do a lot for governance. You know that you want to ensure that the newspapers are actually adequately published in the newspapers, so that there will be a fair judgment. The populace will trust the government. So you just need to tweak your head. But use something to relate it with your job, and you must know where you belong. But whether we like it or not, we have something to do with security and governance. Your decisions now, you have to be gender biased when it comes to the plus. You need to gender sensitive. You need to consider youth development, and you have to operate an inclusive system. So, you just know what is the meaning and use Oyinbo to turn it to, and that's how they will enjoy what you are saying. But at times it's not about exactly saying the truth, but saying the right thing that will make meaning to the person. When you write these things, we know take like 1 minute to read it. Once you see it could do more, quickly look for somebody somewhere to retweak, so that I'll do more. So I think that's the summary I can say, except if there's any other thing.
All right, thank you so much, Ma. Because of the time, I think we are good to go now. So, distinguish everyone. Can I see your emojis to appreciate our director for this
It's already
hint?
10:30. Oh, sorry.
Thanks so much, Ma.
So thank you
Let
very much.
the emojis.
For the PSR, have a lot, understand the difference between secondment and transfer. Don't mix them up. Don't be in a hurry. No example. If you can give example when you're asking, when you're talking about secondment transfer, just give small example, so that they will know what you are talking about. Thank you so much for the opportunity to also add value. I wish us all the best. I wish us God's favor. We'll find favor in the selection of questions. We'll find favor in the answers we are going to write also. And God will put us, He will coordinate us, put the right things down.
Mima, before we cut today's head, what you just said now about the difference between secondment and the what? You say something about difference between secondment and something now, ma.
That's one major thing they used to ask us all the time.
Can you just give us a little intro on that and the difference between?
So when they say that, what is the, at times for those on very senior kid, all they might be difference direct. Only an officer wrote to leave the service temporarily to another for a international or government-owned establishment. What is the difference between this and transfer? So because he told you that he went temporarily. He went temporary to somewhere. That word temporary, what is sort of secondment near. So when you hear transfer, temporary release, that's secondment. When you hear permanent release, that's transfer. And both of them have, when you talk about transfer is the permanent release of an officer from an established post, for an established entity to another. So it's like, for example, you are going from Civil Service Commission to Health Service Commission. You want to leave Civil Service Commission and say, okay, orí change it on health mo fẹ́ transfer lọ sí health service or for health reasons. So you write for application for transfer through the Civil Service Commission, through your permanent secretary to the Civil Service Commission. Civil Service Commission will now write Health Service Commission and ask them, do you have vacancy to accept this officer? So vacancy is very important. So tó bá ti ní àwọn ní vacancy, they will now come back and say, okay, are we ready to help? His skill is not that very significant, and they will release him. That is fine. And you see that one that I explained just now, that is what you call intra, INTRA, intra transfer ló ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. That is transfer between the same government. Health Service Commission is Lagos. Civil Service Commission, that is intra. Then we have what we call inter-transfer, INTER. That is transfer from one state, government, one established, check it, one scheduled service to another. That is from Lagos State to Ondo State. From Ondo State to... So all of them to follow the same thing. But the thing for the one going from one state to the other, what they will do is they will step you down when you go to that state. But if it is from the same government owned, they don't step you down. You remain the same way. So that is what you call transfer. Secondment, on the other hand, is a temporary release of an officer from a government-owned establishment or to an international organization. And it is usually used to fulfill skill gap, while the other one, transfer, is used to fill recruitment. So here you are getting the differences. So for secondment, you have secondment at the instance of the officer and secondment at the instance of government. That is what you call based on public policy. Both of them, secondment at the instance of the officer, ó dàbí nsìn wọ́n ní wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe international UNESCO Fadama project. They will now move you and say, and they need Amina, she has these skills that is very good, she can help us set up the HR. Amani Hamza, go to that place. So that is at the instance of the government. Government ló ní kí n wá lọ, èmi kọ́ mo sọ fún wọn pé mo fẹ́ lọ. So when I go like that, it does not have limits. There's no limited time. And when you go and come back, you will still come and win your seniority. That is your notional date. If you miss 2 promotions, you will do 2 promotions consecutively and win and earn your notional date. The other one is at the instance of the officer. So take note of instance of the officer and based on public policy. Instance of the officer now, my uncle, where can it? Tinubu is my uncle. He became president. I will now write and say I want them to second me to federal government, that I should go and work with Tinubu for that period. That one is the first 2 years and renewable ones, making 4 years. After 4 years, It's either you remain, transfer your service to federal, or you come back up to your duty post. That's the option they gave you. 4 years, but you also earn your seniority. Thank you very much. That's what all about I can tell you on secondment and transfer.
Thank you so much, ma. Ẹ jẹ́ ká rí emojis yín kẹ́ fi appreciate Alhaja.
I hope I've been able to, I've been able to not confuse you. I hope I didn't confuse you. Thank you, Olamide. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I just felt so bad that I couldn't do much all these days. But thank you. It was due to exigencies of duties. I wish us all the best. Thank you, Mr. Jamiu, for this good work. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma. Okay, thank you so much, ma. Thank you, Mr. Rasul. Thank you, everyone. Please, we are going to call it a day so that we will go and prepare for tomorrow.
Go and rest, not rest again. Go and sleep. But get to the exam or minimum of 1 hour before, please. 1 hour before.
1 hour.
Thank you,
Ẹni tó bá ń gbé Kòròdú, ẹ jí kúrò láago 6 kẹ́ lọ jókòó síbi kan kẹ́ sùn.
Okay, thank you. Ó dàárọ̀ ma. Good night, everyone.
Good night.